Beneath the relentless Tanzanian sun, the savanna stretched endlessly, an ocean of gold and dust. Acacia trees stood scattered like ancient sentinels, their twisted arms casting precious pools of shade on the dry earth. In this vast, shimmering wilderness, silence reigned, but it wasn't peace, it was suspense. From the horizon emerged a figure, majestic, deliberate. His name was Baruti. Scarred by time and crowned by a mane faded with age, he was no longer the swift warrior of his youth, yet his presence commanded reverence. He was known by many names, but to those who understood the rhythm of the wild, he was simply the Silent King. With each heavy step, the ground seemed to remember him. Alone he searched not for prey, but for respite from the heat, from age, from the burden of rule. At last he found shade beneath an ancient acacia. There he collapsed with a deep sigh, unaware that fate had led him to hidden danger. Beneath the roots of that tree lay a nest of African wild bees. At first the ground stirred only slightly, a rustle like dry leaves. Then came the first sting, sharp, precise, a warning. Baruti flinched. Another sting, then another. In seconds the earth seemed to explode. A swarm erupted, furious, unified, relentless. These weren't ordinary bees. They were apes, mellifera scutellata, Africanized bees feared across the continent for their aggression. They did not merely defend, they attacked. Even large predators, even kings. Baruti did not flee. Disoriented, his instincts screamed to run, but age dulled his reactions. Pride rooted him. The swarm enveloped him. Thousands of bodies crawled and stung and clung. His once mighty mane became a writhing shroud. His golden eyes swelled shut. His massive frame trembled with spasms, but he did not roar. There was no sound, only the furious hum of wings, nature asserting dominance. Across the sweltering plains where mirages blurred the horizon and dust clung to every breeze, a lone vehicle moved slowly through the grass. Inside was Logan, a 28-year-old American wildlife ranger working with the Serengeti Conservation Service. Young but shaped by the wild, he slowed. Something was wrong. Far ahead, a shape moved in the grass too large for an antelope, too erratic for grazing. Logan lifted his binoculars. At first it looked like Baruti was under attack by rival lions, but then he saw it. A swarm. Not predators, bees. A living cloak of black and gold. His heart raced. He knew these bees could kill even a lion in minutes. Baruti lay motionless, fighting not with tooth and claw, but with breath and will. Logan stopped the jeep. Dust rose around the tires. The engine idled. He reached behind his seat and retrieved two things: a canister of smoldering smoke and a carved staff gifted by Maasai elders, a symbol of protection and courage. He stepped out straight into the storm. Bees swarmed him instantly, but he didn't panic. He moved with deliberate grace, waving the smoke in slow circular motions, ancient movements of respect. Among the Maasai, smoke isn't just a tool, it's a language, and the bees began to yield. Through the haze, a swollen eye blinked. Baruti saw him not as a threat, but as something else, a presence, a protector. Slowly the swarm withdrew, not all at once, but in waves. Logan knelt beside the lion, not as a ranger, but as a witness. "You're not alone," he whispered. He grabbed the radio. "This is Logan emergency. I've got a lion severe bee attack, send backup fast." And he waited, unmoving, unwavering. A man and a lion. In the heat, in the silence. Just holding on. The rumble of tires broke the stillness. Two veterinary trucks arrived. Calm hands worked quickly. Baruti, though battered, was treated with care and respect. Dozens of stings, swollen shut eyes, life-saving fluids flowed drop by drop, and when he was stable, they lifted him gently into a crate. He was transported to a secluded recovery enclosure deep within the reserve. There, beneath heavy shade and constant watch, Baruti was given something rare: time to heal. Days passed, then weeks. The swelling faded, his breath steadied, his ancient eyes opened once more. And finally the gate opened. Baruti stepped out, slow but certain, back into the wild that had nearly claimed him. 1 week later, Logan sat alone at his outpost, the hum of cicadas accompanying his thoughts. He wondered if he'd ever see the lion again. Then movement. From the shimmering grass, Baruti emerged, no longer frail, no longer broken. He didn't roar, he didn't growl. He simply looked, eyes meeting the man who had stood in the swarm. And then with quiet dignity the lion turned and walked away. But before the wild swallowed him, he glanced back. Just once, not with fear, not with dominance, but remembrance.